Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio on a Wednesday morning. So we just finished up with the U.S. Open, of course, and the state of Missouri's got its own kind of little U.S. Open, if you will, going on this week, don't we?
This is the annual state amateur tournament that kind of fluctuates each year from course to course. Last year it was down in southeast Missouri. They held it. This year it's at Paynes Valley down in Branson, and that's a very interesting little course in its own right. The amateur tournament begins with 2 days of medal play. One was yesterday, the other's today. The top 64 medalist players qualify for match play, and that begins tomorrow. Well, the qualifying first round produced a 7-under par 65 from a kid named Easton Johnson from Kansas City and Max Kreckemeyer from Chesterfield. They each shot 65 for a 7-under par. And now they go into round 2 today. Those guys are more than likely, barring a complete collapse, they'll make the field. And then the other golfers down the line, they get a chance. Some of our Springfield golfers really have to turn to today and play very well to get into that match play. Once you get into match play, all the scores are thrown out. You start over again. That's player against player, and it's a lot of fun. The state championship will be decided on Sunday with a 36-hole match play round of golf, and that is indeed a test.
How tough is that course in Branson?
I'm not a golfer, Mike, but it's a par 72, and it's a pretty good course. It's over 7,000 yards. It's not the toughest of all courses. I'm told the fairways are very wide. You have to have a bad tee shot to get into the rough, and that does help. But the greens are tough, and this is a good test for the amateurs.
Should be. And again, you say you're not a golfer, but I heard you're trying to get back into the swing of things.
Trying to, yes.
Yeah, well, if you're not
meeting up with some obstacles.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. All right. We always give the NFL credit about being a league that seems to go 365. The NBA pretty much feels the same way because guess what? The draft is already happening.
It will happen tomorrow night in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and it'll be 58 players who are taken. There are only 2 rounds of the NBA draft, and 58 players. 2 teams don't have draft in the second round. They are the Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers. They both have penalties, so they will be denied any picks. The overwhelming choice, San Antonio Spurs won the lottery, so they have the first choice of all. And the overwhelming choice is the 7'4", 19-year-old French phenom, Victor Wembanyama, and he is considered to be a superstar in the making. Wembanyama did throw out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium last night. Now, keep in mind, this guy's from France, hasn't played baseball at all. Yet he got out there on the mound, went to the 60 feet 6 inches, went to the rubber, towed the rubber, went through the windup, but his pitch wasn't very good. He threw it. He had obviously never thrown a baseball before, and the pitch, he got to the plate, but it was way wide and outside. But that's all right. The kid was there, and he's going to be a star player in time. Maybe not right away, but in time he will be.
Not only that, but he's going to get paid. All right, so what's this about the Cardinals playing a game in Alabama next year? Is this the Field of Dreams game?
In a sense, it is, yes, but in another sense, it's a tribute to the Negro Leagues and what they did. It'll be in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's 1 year from yesterday. The Cardinals will play the Giants. It's a regular season game, and they'll play it at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, which is the oldest professional baseball park in America. The oldest, Rickwood Field. And it kind of looks it. It is a solid baseball park, but it's very, very old. And it was the home of the Birmingham Barons of the old Negro League, and this will be to honor the legacy of Negro League baseball at that time. So this will be very good, and that's a year from yesterday. The Giants and the Cardinals.
So Cardinals were 3 in a row. Did they make it 4 in a row?
They did, and now they're 12 games under 500. Hey, they're creeping back into it. That's the good news. Bad news is they're not going to play too many teams as weak as the Washington Nationals, who have a worse record than the Cardinals do. Anyway, Cardinals won it 9-3 last night against Washington. Dylan Carlson had a couple of home runs, and Jordan Montgomery pitched very well. Again, Washington, and not denigrating the Cardinals at all, but Washington is not very strong. They just don't have much of an attack. And they'll play Game 3 and the finale of that series this afternoon, and then the Cardinals take 2 days off. Now, do they rest and relax on those 2 days off? Not hardly. They are traveling to London, where they will play the Chicago Cubs on Saturday and Sunday. Major League Baseball annually goes to London to play a series of games, and it'll be the Cardinals and Cubs this year, Saturday, Sunday. Then the Cardinals get another day off when they come back to this country and play the Astros and the Yankees prior to the 4th of July.
What's the story in the Royals? How they do?
Won. And they won a game in most un-Royals-like, 1-0. How about this? Royals beat the Detroit Tigers last night 1-0. Daniel Lynch pitched 7 innings of 2-hit baseball. He was in total control, and yet the manager took him out of the game in the 7th inning. Almost backfired. Detroit had a chance. Aroldis Chapman, who is considered to be one of the premier relievers in all of baseball, probably will be dealt by the Royals at the trade deadline. Loaded the bases with walks. He has trouble with control. Got out of it on a double play, and then in the 9th inning, the Tigers got a double but could not bring the man home. Kansas City won, Detroit nothing. In the month of June, Mike, that's Kansas City's 3rd win of the month.
Not so good for those Missouri baseball teams. All right, we talked about the Springfield Cardinals.
Springfield Cardinals got themselves a win. They knocked off the Frisco Rough Riders 10-7 yesterday, coming from behind to do it. The Frisco Rough Riders had a 5-0 lead and let it get away, just like the Cardinals with their big brothers up in St. Louis. Let Washington have a big lead on Tuesday and came back to win the game as well. Well, that was the Springfield Cardinals, and they get a win last night, 10-7, and big win because the Cardinals are now, this is the Springbirds, are now an even 500 on the year, 32-32. First half of the season ends on Sunday. The Cardinals will not win, but they're certainly setting the stage for a second half charge, and I think they do it.
Be nice to see them make it into the postseason if they can make it. Well, at least for those Missouri teams that are struggling so much this year. Last but not least is Wake Forest still kind of in the control of things in the College World Series.
They are. They're undefeated, and they will play again today. There were 2 games, both elimination games yesterday. Oral Roberts from down in Tulsa was eliminated. Texas Christian beat them 6-1. That's loss number 2 for ORU, and they're out. And the Tennessee Volunteers are out of the competition. LSU beat them by a score of 5-0. LSU is very good. As a matter of fact, Mike, I'm thinking that LSU and Wake Forest are probably the 2 top teams. It's not decided yet because there's more elimination play coming up today. We'll see, but when it comes to the championship coming up this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bayou Bengals and the Demon Deacons.
Well, we'll see what happens. Ned, you have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll see you on Thursday.